Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles, where in today's Tier 10, it's a standard battle, not domination. Here on the Haven map, Blueberry Magic here in the French Tier 10 destroyer, the Marceau, is going to be having a rather interesting battle. And when I say interesting, I mean he's going to be going through at least 3 sets of underpants. The Marceau is, I suppose, technically a premium ship, but anybody can get it. You can buy it for coal in the armory. You just play enough games, open enough coal containers, and eventually the Marceau can be yours. And it is a very, very dangerous ship, although not without some limitations. First, the good things. The guns are pretty spicy. It has 8 of them. They're 127mm in caliber, so your fairly standard destroyer 5-inch guns. They have a 3.5 second reload, and compared to a Tech Tree's sister ship, the Kleber, she does get slightly lower high explosive alpha damage in return for higher armor piercing alpha, although the armor piercing shells, they're not that good. This isn't a daring. Generally speaking, you can stick the high explosive in this thing and still expect to do very, very well indeed. Because despite the lower high explosive alpha, this ship has crazy good damage per minute. It's also stupidly fast. I mean, we're not talking a Paolo Emilio here or anything, but even without the swift and silent skill or the engine boost, this thing's doing 46.2 knots, and she will comfortably exceed 52, 53 knots with the engine boost running. Which now it is. Although you can only really expect to get that kind of crazy fast top speed if you're sailing in a straight line. The Marceau does tend to bleed off speed quite a bit in the turn. However, it does have really bad concealment. He's already been spotted, which is not good. The best you can expect to get the concealment down to in this thing is 7 kilometers, which means even other French destroyers are likely to outspot you. Yamagiri definitely will. This is very much a bad news situation for both Blueberry and the Yamagiri over there, because there's no way a Marceau is losing a gunfight to a Yamagiri, so naturally the Yamagiri is going to smoke up. It's also, however, very, very bad news for Blueberry, because the Yamagiri isn't the one shooting at him. Oh, that's one of those. Really? It's at this point where I realised we were on the EU server, for reasons which will become apparent in a moment, once Blueberry manages to successfully disengage from this rather unfortunate initial encounter, during which he lost half of his health. Okay, he's not about to die immediately. A couple of things that I just noticed. That Viasma, I don't even know how you pronounce it. Notice that it doesn't have a full health bar. That's one of these new experimental ships that just got introduced in the latest patch. I haven't actually played any of them yet, but amongst other things, and he did just take a hit there, but they actually start with something like 40% of their maximum health, so they've kind of got a built-in adrenaline rush. They also get a special ammunition type, which is a consumable, a limited use ammo, but the thing that I then noticed was that guy's name. Which is how I knew we were on the EU server. Oh, hang on a second. Get back to that in a moment. Yamagiri's just popped up again. Well, Blueberry wastes absolutely no time shooting at him. He's ducking back into his smoke screen. Probably left it in order to avoid getting torpedoed. Which isn't a bad idea. But then, for some bizarre reason, I mean, he's safe. He's back in the smoke screen. It's like he doesn't know how smoke screens work. I'm not quite sure what he thought was going to happen there, but there's the first blood award. Blueberry Magic nails the Yamagiri. Taking some shots now at the Van Kuchelen over there. Oh, there's the Yamagiri torpedoes. Obvious torpedoes are fairly obvious. And he's successfully managed to avoid those, not too difficult. But yes, there he is again, just popped up. The experimental ship captain, his name... Actually, we'll wait until we see him again, because it's just too good to miss. In the meantime... Oh, the friendly Libertad just went down. He was actually complaining at the beginning of the battle that his only purpose in this match was to get shot at. Looks like he got his wish. Bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy there. Meanwhile, Blueberry raining down high explosive on the Shikishima. He's gotten spotted. Not quite sure who it is. Nobody appears to have line of... Oh, there's a submarine right on top of him. Okay, we'll get back to the name of the experimental ship captain in a moment. For right now, this is bad. That's who was spotting him. There was a submarine at periscope depth, like 2.5 kilometers away. So he's been pinged. He used the damage control, dumped depth charges just in case, and then immediately got pinged again. Yet no torpedoes. Is the submarine waiting until he's a bit further away? Might be. Don't forget, torpedoes. They did away with the whole point-blank range submarine surfacing and shotgunning your thing, because torpedoes launched from point-blank range do minimal damage. Yeah, here they come. And they are, of course, homing. And damage controls on cooldown. Oh, that was close. Oh, that was even closer. Looks like the submarine's dropped down below periscope depth. He's no longer being spotted. Letting the team know there is a submarine over there. But he's gotten away with that one. That could have been nasty. So anyway, back to the name of the Vyazma captain. Minge-licking Megamaster. And it was at that point that I knew we were on the EU server. Don't make me explain what that means. He likes to lick minge. It's a British expression. Minge means, you know, badly packed kebab. Fur burger, screaming monkey. Don't make me draw you a picture. How he has gotten away with that name, I have no idea. But my hat is off to him. There he is over there, right hand side of the screen. Minge-licking Megamaster. Wait a minute, those were friendly torpedoes. There's nothing back there that could have launched them other than the Carl Johan. Who were they supposed to hit? There's nobody over here that they could have hit other than Blueberry Magic. What the hell? Well, he's looking for the Cassard. There's a friendly shimmer. Oh, he's spotted. I believe he's about to find the Cassard because it looks like the Cassard has just found him. The Cassard, of course, is also a French destroyer, none of which have great stealth, but very few of which have stealth that's quite as bad as the Moss. So, peeling back here, and he's managed to go undetected again, which means the Cassard must be right at the outer limit of his surface detection. There he is, spotted by the Shimakaze. And the Shimakaze's managed to get spotted in return. The Cassard is shooting at him. So the Shimmer's going to smoke up, and of course, because the Cassard has just fired, and is continuing to do so, at least until the Shimakaze smokes up, he's going to remain spotted for 20 seconds. Okay, the Shimakaze's smoked. Right. The problem here is that the Cassard is actually out of shooting range. Well, with the engine boost running, this thing's actually reversing at nearly 20 knots. Oh, the team have just lost to Montana. Torpedoes away. The Cassard's gone undetected. Well, that was unfortunate. There's Minge-licking Megamaster again. I'm sorry, but that name's amazing. Oh yeah, the Marceau. It has 4 torpedo launchers, although they're only capable of launching 3 torpedoes each, but it's got 2 of them on each side, so it can put 12 torpedoes in the water at once. The only problem is the more than 2-minute reload, which is pretty bad. Oh, hello, Vyazma. You know there's a Shimakaze in that smoke screen, right? I don't know if any of Blueberry's torps are going to hit him. He's certainly seen them. Oh, no. No, he saw Blueberry's torpedoes, but that just made him a sit and duck for the Shimmer's torpedoes. Good job. Good job indeed. Oh, well, so much for Minge-licking Megamaster. You can probably appreciate why Blueberry wasn't keen to shoot at the Cassard and get himself respotted. I mean, he's on half health, and there were a pair of extremely dangerous enemy cruisers over there. Obviously, the Vyazma is no longer with us, but the Vancouver over there was. And also, I mean, this ship does have good guns, but unlike the Kleber, its Tech Tree's sister ship at Tier 10, It has very floaty, almost American destroyer ballistic characteristics, which are especially bad at long range. So trying to engage an enemy destroyer at long range would really result in probably not scoring an awful lot of hits and just getting yourself spotted. At this kind of range though, oh yeah, definitely. The Cassard, of course, smart enough to not try to return fire against the Marceau and instead just disengaged because he knows he's got the superior stealth. Meanwhile, the team have just lost their only radar. The Seattle went down, nailed by the enemy Shikishima. Then they just lost their Yamagiri. Now they've just lost their Utrecht. What the hell? Oh, and in case you're wondering, oh, they've just managed to pull one back. Carl Johan sank the Venezia. But yeah, the scores at the top of the screen, they are reversed. It's your fairly typical World of Warships replay bug. Blueberry's team are the ones on 373 points. The enemy team are the ones in the lead on 463 points. Speaking of bugs, ooh, Cassard torpedoes. No, those aren't bugs. I'll get onto that in a moment. This thing's fast. This is no pro. Oh, hang on a second. Those? Huh. Shimakaze just ate a torpedo and didn't die from it, which indicates that those are going to be submarine-launched torpedoes launched from point-blank range, which means... Yeah, and the Shimakaze is ditching depth charges. Yes, that submarine's back, and he's around here somewhere. But yes, speaking of bugs, the Marceau has a... Let's not call it a bug. Let's call it a feature. We'll explain this feature in a moment, I promise. It may actually explain why he's suddenly so keen to get into a gunfight with a Pfannkuchen. And what it comes down to is basically this. Hang on a second. Ah, submarine! I thought, hang on, he's still spotted. Kill it! Kill it with fire! Dodge the torpedoes again. And he's killed the sub. The team, however, have just lost their Preußen at the hands of the Shikishima, who nailed the Seattle earlier. Nailing the sub has allowed him to go undetected, although he is on very low health and on fire. And I must admit, I was thinking, what the hell are you doing? Getting yourself spotted by the Pfannkuchen. But the guns were pointing in a different direction, and he was about to get an island between him and the enemy cruiser. So it's all good. It was fine. It was a calculated risk. But yes, speaking of that bug, which may explain why he was so keen to get involved into that broadside-on gunfight with the Pfannkuchen in the first place, is because there's an interesting, and we're not going to call it a bug, we'll call it a feature, to do with the damage saturation model of the midsection of the Marceau, which was originally spotted by the community and called a bug, because, well, you know, if it looks like a bug, smells like a bug, and tastes like a bug, the community are just going to go ahead and call it a bug. Because the midsection of this thing gets damage saturated way faster than it should. And when a section of a ship gets damage saturated, it stops taking as much damage as it should from incoming fire. Oh, hello, the Cassard's back up. He sees that, oh, this is bad. No, the Shimmer still has a charge of smoke left. Well, the Cassard is now spotted for at least the next 20 seconds because he's continuing to fire. So Blueberry's going to at least attempt to finish the job that he started earlier. Assisted, of course, by the Shimakaze because Blueberry's spotting the Cassard for him, and the Shimakaze is nice and safe inside its smokescreen. Although that doesn't mean the Cassard hasn't launched torpedoes. Let's face it, he probably has. So maybe the Shimmer's not quite as safe in the smokescreen as he assumes he is. The Cassard's running out of ocean to run away to. Yeah. Oh dear. Oh well, never mind. Too bad. So sad. That's narrowed the enemy team's lead to about 40 points. But yeah, back to this damage saturation bug or feature on the Marceau's midsection, which you can tell just by looking at it, certainly appears to be damage saturated, which means the Marceau isn't going to take as much damage from incoming shell fire, and oh hell, what just happened? The Shimakaze just... Really? Montana? How did nobody see that coming? Both the Shimakaze and Blueberry were extremely surprised by that, and that means, of course, that there's a Montana coming around the corner of that island, which at the moment nobody can see because of the Shimakaze's smokescreen. Well, the torpedoes are ready to go. The Montana just launched something. Didn't quite catch what it was. Depth charge attack planes? They're not going to spot anything. Does it have a patrol fighter or a spotting aircraft? Pay very careful attention to that smokescreen. See if anything gets launched out of it. Of course, with 4,800 health, Blueberry is in no rush to meet the same fate as the Shimakaze, so he's making Billy Big Steps full speed away. Yep, there's the Montana's depth charge attack planes. They're not going to spot anything. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh, those are very good torpedoes. Montana doesn't have a huge amount of health, although with a battleship torpedo damage reduction, it took 3, but, well, he launched 6, so 3 will do. They're now only 5 points behind the enemy team. I keep threatening to talk about this damage saturation bug with the Marceau. The thing is, when it was first noticed, and the Delny's managed to sink the enemy Montana. Nice. The team are now actually ahead on points by nearly 100. Fantastic. 4.5 minutes of the battle left. And Blueberry was just there in chat, because he's just realised that with a 100-point lead and 4.5 minutes to go, I was thinking 4,800 health and you're shooting at the Kuhn. Playing with fire there, but it's fine. It's okay. He got away with it. But he's just realised that they've got this game in the bag. There's 4 minutes left, and they're 100 points ahead. So he's there now advising everybody, pull back. In particular, the Carl Johan, who is on very, very low health. The Delny also needs to just get back. And while the rest of the team are hopefully coming to the same conclusion and pulling back, I will finally conclude that story about the damage saturation. Is it a bug or is it a feature on the Marceau? Because it was certainly never advertised as one of the features of the ship when it was first introduced, and it was something that only came to light when the community noticed it and called it a bug. Wargaming, however, I don't know if they just couldn't be bothered to fix it, because they certainly didn't fix it. In fact, they did the exact opposite. If you were to look this ship up and go to its World of Warships wiki page entry, listed under the pros and cons of the Marceau, you will now find the first pro: unique midsection saturation mechanics allow Marceau to take more hits compared to non-French destroyers. That's right, it's not a bug, it's a feature. Of course it is. Oh, Wargaming, you so silly. I guess it's easier than just fixing it though. The Fankuhuan's nosing around. But he obviously knows he's spotted. The thing is, just playing it safe and going undetected isn't going to win the game for him, is it? Because they're 100 points behind, and there's now only, well, nearly 2.5 minutes left. This is the situation where the enemy team are the one that need to push and take chances. They're the ones that have to make the risky moves, and possibly die doing it, but what other choice do they have? They're 100 points behind with 2 minutes and 25 seconds to go. But where's the enemy daring? Because he hasn't been seen for some time. And right now the Delny on the team is assuming that he's rage quit. And that's the precise moment when somebody starts capturing the base, and it's not the Fankuhuan. So, yeah. And there's the daring. Spotted the Delny, got counter-spotted in return, smoked up, continues to shoot at him, although he's not quite 100% covered in the smoke, and of course was lighting him up for the Fankuhuan. This is a bit of a problem, because that daring has managed to go undetected. He is flipping the base, and he's almost on full health. And with the Fankuhuan popping in and out of detection every time he shoots at the Delny, and refusing to duck behind an island, so he goes conveniently out of line of sight to Blueberry. Blueberry cannot really afford to risk shooting, which means it's down to the Delny, and to his credit, the Delny's going for it. Although you can make a case for the argument that at this point the time for playing it safe and caution is over, because without any direct backup and support, that Delny is going to die. Although you could also argue the case that if Blueberry had opened up, then both he and the Delny would have died. But either way, the Delny has died, and that loss has flipped the points with 1 minute to go, and the enemy team are now 9 points ahead. And they're flipping the base. Although at this point, with that small but significant points lead, they don't actually need to take the base anymore. But Blueberry can no longer afford to play this safe. Torpedo hit on the Fankuhuan. He must finish him off. They need a kill. He has 4,800 hit points. He is now, of course, getting shot at by both the Fankuhuan and the Daring, who still has the advantage of being inside a smoke screen. 3,500 hit points. The Phankuchen is healing. 3,000, 2,000. Torpedoes in the smoke. It looks like they've missed the daring. They're not going to hit the Phankuchen. He must finish him off with the guns. There's the fire. There's the kill. 10 seconds to go. Now he just has to stay alive. With the daring in the smoke screen, of course, he's no longer spotted now that the Phankuchen is dead. The daring is blind firing. He just has to stay alive. And he's done it. With 10 seconds to go. He flips the scores again, puts them out on points, and claims the victory. Earning himself a last-second Kraken Unleashed in the process for the 5th kill against the Phankuchen to go with his first blood and his Confederate. So both the first and the last kills in the battle for Blueberry Magic here in the French Tier 10 destroyer, the Marceau. Hope you all enjoyed it, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.